This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, well, welcome everybody to our virtual networking meeting. What we're going to do is, like always, we're going to start with a round of introductions. Also, please feel free in the little chat box as a text message, you can send your contact information. If you want to send like a link or a phone number or a website, whatever, an email. And when we're done, I will take whatever you put in the chat and blast it out as an email to everybody, so everybody has that information. I will also send the video link for this recording, and keep in mind that in YouTube, when you hit share, there's actually an option that allows you to share the link, but the link will start at a specific time into the recording, not necessarily at the beginning. So that's kind of a neat little feature, because if you want to share the recording and have it automatically start when you're doing your video introduction, because you want to share it with a client or whatever the case may be, YouTube allows that capability, and it's kind of neat. And I think that's it. And I'm not going to mute everybody today because we have just relatively few people on the line, and I don't hear a lot of background noise. So let's just take, and then after that, I'll just open it up for general discussion, and I'll also share from my side some of the networking meetings that I have in my calendar, in case they're useful to any of you. So that's it. I'm just going to go in the order that I see people here on my display, which I'm not sure how it is, but that's how we're going to do it. So Brian, real quick, you want to introduce yourself and say hello?
Sure. Brian Marion from First National Bank. Manage the office in Squirrel Hill. This time of the year makes me think about, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I know today is officially fall, but last week it seemed like fall. It was cold and dark. It makes me think about seasonal businesses, and of course, being a bank nerd, that makes me think about lines of credit and folks who rely on seasonal businesses, whether it's a landscaper or contractor, or folks who have retail or something to do with the holidays, where they really see that flux. It's that's the classic scenario for a commercial line of credit to have that to make up for the cash flow. So that's what I've been talking to folks about the last few weeks, is that seasonal nature to their business, the cash flow, and of course, the best time to get a line of credit is when you don't need it. So Brian from First National Bank. Thanks.
All right, perfect. Dolph, you want to take a turn and introduce yourself?
Well, sure, Sal. I'm Dolph Santorine. I spent half of my career in the manufacturing business and the other half in the .com, and ended up having a very nice exit to Gannett, which I guess was a fairly major newspaper chain back when newspapers were actually a thing. So I'm part data jockey and part manufacturing guy, and at the end of the day, I'm really a salesman. And I'm quasi-retired, but always entertaining, interesting projects.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, and just so everybody knows, because of maybe my business connections, we tend to have a lot of people from the Pittsburgh area, but Dolph is actually down here in the Wheeling area next to St. Clairsville, where I live in Ohio. So we're also starting to get, which I think is kind of neat, a little bit of a geographic dispersion in our meeting here. Okay, James, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. James Bukovac, home loan advisor with eMortgage Management, helping homeowners in Pennsylvania to purchase, refinance, build new homes for 22 years now. So question would be, who do you know who's looking to buy or sell a home in the next 6 to 12 months? The faster I can talk to the people, the better I can help them, because not everyone else has perfect credit, like 740 credit scores, making $500,000 a year. Just had a couple last week that I talked to 4 months ago. They basically said, we find a house, we want to buy a home. 4 months ago, I talked to them, and they have 2 $7,000 collection accounts on their credit report for unpaid child support dating back to 2005. when I talked to him 4 months ago, I said, go to the county courthouse, get the documentation that proves it's zero. Well, all the guy did was make a phone call. Some lady says, oh yeah, that's been paid off, but he didn't follow the steps I gave him to get the documentation. Until you, the person with the collection account, gets the documentation and gets it to me, who I get it to my credit bureau, that collection account is not going to go away. So now this week he's going to take a day off of work and go to the county building to get that documentation. So I always say the more time I have with people, the better, because there's probably more people out there that have credit scores below 620 than above 720. So I always saying the fact that, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell a home? I can help to either, because anyone who's selling a home, most likely they're going to buy something else. If someone's selling a larger home in Mount Lebanon, kids are off to college, they don't need as much space, or one of the spouses has passed on, they're going to buy something smaller. And even a what's it called? Trying to think what it's called, almost like a small ranch home. They're still going for like $300,000. So they're still going to need financing. In that case, I have something called a reverse mortgage. You can pay off half the loan and only have half the debt on the mortgage. I also have a program that I'm helping a lot of people with that have about 27 years left on their loan, and I have a program that can pay that off in probably about 15 years. Actually have them debt free in about half the time. So James, the money man.
Excellent, thank you. Rich, can you introduce yourself? Oh, and by the way, and I think we've kind of been doing this too, but as part of your intro, just maybe mention what would be an ideal client for you, so the other folks on the call can kind of watch out for that and send them your way if they run into somebody that's a good fit.
Excellent. Thanks, Sal. Hey, everybody. Rich Majewski, and I'm a marketer with the fabulous agency of Farmers Insurance with the Passu family, Passu Agency. So a great referral, a good business lead, or just somebody that needs insurance. I mean, that's everybody, right? So we specialize in auto, home, and life, umbrella, but we do more than just that. There's so much to say. We don't need to take the time, but even specialty, RVs, commercial, many different lines of insurance. So that's pretty much any insurance agency, that's what you're looking at. But we're different because we are integrity driven, honest, caring, and just servants. That's what I try to tell people when we're on the phone with someone. There's everywhere you look, there's a different agency popping up. But if you want someone that's reliable, honest, and just integrity driven, that's what we focus on here with the Passu agencies. I'm currently going for my license with insurance, so hopefully be getting that here very soon. And I also have a side business just encouraging kids through the game of baseball and teaching them life as well. It's called Inspire Baseball. But mainly on here just to get the Passu agency name out there, such wonderful people. So anyone out there that just wants, anyone that wants maybe a good renewal, encourage them to look at their insurance. It costs nothing except to just get an open vision of what they could be saving. So that's us, Passu Agency.
Excellent. And I think I am the last one at bat. And I'll make it brief because I know most of you folks, or all of you folks, know me and know what I do, but just for the record. So I'm Sal Acosta. I'm a business broker. I help people buy and sell businesses. Anything from 10 to 250 employees, anything from 0 all the way up to 10 or $20 million in revenue, anything from hopefully positive cash flow, but it doesn't even have to be that way. Ideally, maybe I'll say positive cash flow, from 0 to about a million or two in cash flow or EBITDA, whatever you want to call it. Ideal client, somebody that started their business 10, 20, 30 years ago, and now is in that range of 60 to 80 years old and wants to sell their business to retire. That's a very ideal client. But other than that, really anybody that's honestly motivated to sell their business. And that's it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mention just real quick, and I'm going to read them off my screen here. But I'll blast them out via email also as part of the chat. But just a couple of activities that are coming up. because I'm assuming since you folks are all here on the virtual networking that you're also interested in real life networking. So let me just mention a couple. One is sponsored by Duquesne University. And this is, as far as I know, a one-off activity. It's the International Networking Forum. It's at Duquesne University. That'll be this Wednesday, September the 25th. Okay. The other one that I'm going to mention is this group called Network After Work. And that's Thursday, September the 26th. And again, I'm going to send links out to all of this. Here, the back window is here. Okay. And then the last one, and most important, is my own networking lunch that we do over at South Point, the Network of Business Owners and Related Professionals. That's a little farther away. It's Monday, October the 14th. But if you guys could pencil all that in, and that's actually a holiday. And I will tell you what holiday it is. It is Columbus Day. And then after that, the next one is actually on a holiday too. It'll be Monday, November 11th, which is Veterans Day. So both of our live networking meetings are on holidays. I thought of changing it, but I actually thought it might be neat to leave it on a holiday. Simply because people that are normally busy on a Monday with like staff meetings or just regular clients, whatever the case may be, may want to take the opportunity, if they're gung-ho and they're 24/7 entrepreneurs, to take the opportunity that's a holiday and join us for lunch on those days. So that's it. I've turned everybody on. This is open discussion. And by the way, another nice thing about these little virtual meetings is, unless we have a lot of open discussions or anything, I don't mind ending the meeting early. Simply because, the nice thing is we didn't have to drive anywhere. We don't have to drive anywhere back. So if these meetings are short, that's perfectly fine with me. But does anybody have anything else, activities they want to mention or things they want to ask or need help with anything?
Yeah, Sal, tell us about the thing for this Thursday, September 26th.
Oh, okay.
Is that the Top Golf thing?
No, this is another organization called Network After Work. It's September 26th. I'm going from memory, and I'll send you the link with their information. But it's 6 to 9, and it's at Wiggle Whiskey, which I think is on Smallman in the Strip District in downtown Pittsburgh. It's similar to PBX, which is the guys that are doing the Top Golf activity. From my perspective, having gone to both, I think the major difference is PBX does larger activities in terms of quantity of people that attend. And honestly, that to me doesn't bother me that Network After Work does smaller activities because, even if you think about it, let's say you spend, I don't even know, 6-10 minutes with a person networking, right? That means you can talk to 6 to 10 people in an hour, and these things usually last 2 to 3 hours. So realistically, you're not going to be able to talk to more than 20, 30 people in a night. And even that, I think, honestly, is pushing it if you want to have meaningful conversations. The other one is PBX, I think, tends to attract a little bit more of a professional crowd, although still they don't attract, for example, in my case, my target market, they don't attract a lot of business owners. They attract a lot of people that are trying to provide services to other businesses and other business owners. But the flip side is these Network After Work activities are very inexpensive. They're in the range of $15 to $25. So anyway, that's kind of a long answer to a short question.
So the Network After Work, do they meet once a month like the PBX?
Yes, correct.
And is it always on a Thursday?
No, they tend to move it around from Wednesday to Thursday, and they tend to move it around to like 3 or 4 different places. They had a program at one point, by the way, and this may be good for the other folks that are here on the conference call, and I don't know if it's still available. but I think it was for $35, you could get access to all their events throughout the year, which are 12, basically once a month. I signed up for that. And to be honest with you, that you can't beat. I mean, $35 for 12 networking opportunities in the year, you just can't beat that. I don't know if it's still available or not. I suspect it's one of those that even if it isn't, if you ask and let them know that you know, they might give it to you.
Are they still doing the speed networking? I'm trying to look it up. I know they were doing that for a while. I've never been to one, but they were doing that kind of, like the end of the month they were doing the events, and then they were doing like a speed network.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. Hold on a second. I just learned this with Brian a second ago. But I just sent out via chat the links for those 3 activities that I mentioned. Can you guys see if you got it?
Yeah, I see him there.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you for that.
Could you send that out like email?
No, chat right on the GoToMeeting platform. If you notice, you have like several tabs, and one of them says like chat. If you click on the little arrow and open it, you should have it. I'm going to send it out via email later today too, so don't even worry about it. If you don't have it or see it, don't even worry about it. I'll send out an email to all of us here. So. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have anything else for the group? Any
Oh,
activities? Any comments? Questions?
you were trying to get together something over in like Wheeling. Are you guys still trying to get something put together for that?
Well, Jen was the one actually driving that, by the way, and she was trying to do it either at River City or the Vagabond Chef. Actually, Dolph, let me ask you this: since you're in Wheeling, there's a lady. I don't think you've met her yet. Jennifer Lau. She lives up, I think, in either Weirton or Steubenville, but whatever. She was trying to do kind of a networking activity in Wheeling. Do you, since you're kind of in this area with me, do you want to try to do something? She was looking at, like I said, River City, Vagabond Chef. That's completely up to you.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, either from a place to actually have a meeting, I think River City would be superior. I mean, if you're interested in the food, it's the other way. But if you're interested in a meeting space, it's probably River City would be a superior solution. But yeah, sure. You there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think the thing that happened with that Vagabond Kitchen, I think that thing is totally out for the future.
I'm sorry. Say that again, James.
Sal, you were copied on those emails that Jen sent about the Vagabond Kitchen.
Right.
Doesn't say want to have anything to do with a networking event.
Well, so Dolph, let me ask you this, and not to put you on the spot here with other people or whatever, but would you be interested in helping / driving, and obviously James has interest in trying to do a networking meeting over at the River City over the next, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, and try to get, people, I don't know, south of Pittsburgh, maybe from South Point to Wheeling, and even a little bit south of Wheeling.
Sure. You
Okay.
bet. No problem. The timing is going to be important because I am gone for about 9 days in the middle of that. So, but yeah, no problem. I think that from a business owner and a principal standpoint, I think that in a lot of cases we end up being underserved in this market. from being able to get together and chatting with like-minded people. And I think there's a lot of challenges that, business owners are dealing with right now that are unusual. It used to be you could end up throwing out a sign and help wanted, and you'd have more applications than you know what to do with. And such is not the case anymore. This is a very interesting time in history, and I'm watching a number of different businesses that either I have investments in, or, for example, my son-in-law's restaurant, where they're actually, for the first time ever, having to strategize about getting people.
Okay. Let me look at the calendar here for a second.
Yeah, Sal, I think the biggest thing is to find some place that we can have the meeting room without them charging us a fee to be there, to accept the fact that we'll all buy food and drinks.
Right, right. Let me ask you this, Dolph. Would you be, I think you're driving there, but would you be available, like, let's say Wednesday in the afternoon to physically go over to like River City and just talk to them and see if they would be willing to host an activity there?
Sure, no problem.
Okay. James, do you want to join us?
I don't think I could join you in Wheeling at that time of day. It's better for me either early in the morning or, like the 5, 6 o'clock area.
Okay. All right, Dolph, you want to go over to River City on Wednesday at 2 p.m.?
I think that works. Let me double check. I was working with this before. Let me just double check my calendar. I can do 2 p.m.
Okay, and I'll put it on the meeting notes just for you and me. Okay, and I'll even try because I know the gentleman that runs the place. I think I've got his cell phone and his email, so I'll just kind of give him a heads up that we're going over there Wednesday at 2 p.m. and hopefully that works for him.
Okay.
Okay, what else?
I have to give a plug to James. If you guys if you need someone as a great loan officer or somebody to do exactly what he said, you probably know this already. I mean, I'm new here on this network group, but this man is just, he gets the job done. He is active with the people, and he's also integrity, kind of how we are balanced here. But I just got to give you a plug, James, to just say, if any of you guys need what he is offering, or know anybody, got to send them to him. He just does a phenomenal job with people, and not just in his profession, but with people in general. So I just had to say that, James, for you, give you a plug. And
Thank you. Thank you.
Just remember his name and get his contact information, because he does phenomenal work. And just appreciate him. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. No, and thank you for providing the kudos. And again, the nice thing is now we'll have a permanent video record of this. So James, so anytime you have a new client, just point them to whatever timestamp this is and tell them to listen to, like, basically an unsolicited testimonial or kudos or whatever. So this is great. Okay, Brian, anything else you want to mention or talk about or?
No, I mean, you hit everything that's coming up.
Okay. How are we doing for time? Oh, 10:58. So we've been at it basically 30 minutes. Okay, cool. All right. Anything else before we terminate the meeting?
Jen was saying something about that something was going to happen over there in front of the Meadows Racetrack Road, the Hyatt Hotel. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, I think she was coordinating an activity at the Parlay Lounge.
Yeah, the one lady came to our chop house when we had the outside activity.
Yeah, Cindy, I forget her last name, but you're absolutely right. She and Cindy are working on coordinating an activity over at the Parley Lounge, which is, you're right, the Hyatt on Racetrack Road. But I'm letting Jen run with that, to be honest with you. What I offered to her is that we would mention it through the meetup group, which has about 1,300. Actually, it keeps growing a little bit every day, but we might be up to 1,400 members by now. But regardless, I offered to her I would mention it in the meetup group, and I would mention it on my LinkedIn, which also has like getting close to 6,000 people connected. But basically, she's coordinating that, and it's a shame she couldn't make it today to give us an update. But that's her ball to run with.
Okay, and when you guys meet over there in Wheeling, I'm more than willing to be a participant with that. I just can't be there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, well, no, that's fine. We'll just coordinate a date and a time, um, and then that's it. They just so you know, they have, and Dolph, you've seen this too. They have some really nice space up on the second, and they might even have a third floor, because the first floor is just kind of like a normal restaurant and then bar, but they have some really nice space in the second and third floor. So maybe we can convince them to let us use that space for free and have the meeting there. So we'll see.
Yeah, they also have a little room in the back that I've used for smaller meetings for 10, 12 groups of 10, 12. And it's kind of nice because it's got a door and it's nicely appointed. You shut the door and you can end up having a great meeting, and of course the food's there as well.
Okay, well, there you go. And by the way, Dolphin, I don't know how much ability you have to get the word out, but as long as you feel that it doesn't conflict, because to me this is like a one-off activity, or we do it, I don't know, once every 6 months and once every year or something. But if you want to spread the word through Kiwanis or some of your other social media circles or whatever, it's whoever wants to join us, I think would be great. I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't have to be just the people of this meetup group. It's anybody that is interested in business and you think might be a good fit with kind of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I've been working with West Banco primarily in their IT department recently, helping them end up attracting some talent. So yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of other places to end up running that.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. All right, guys, one last time around. And Rich, anything? Brian, anything? James, anything?
Hey Sal, to invite other participants to the virtual network and network meetings, are we able to just forward that email that you send us?
Yes, you can just forward the email. You can even just forward the link. The link should work to anybody that you send it to. Now, the only thing I will caution, because people sometimes get a little bit confused on this, is I send a link for the actual meeting that's coming up. So, for example, that link is for the actual meeting on, I think, October 14th, whatever the exact date is. Before people can sign up for the meeting, they have to create a profile on Meetup. Okay. And I'm not sure what is required. I suspect it's like the absolute basics, like maybe a first name, an email, something like that. But that trips people up. They try to sign up and they don't realize that they need to create a profile to then be able to sign up. But long story short, that link should be live for anybody that you want to send it to, and just tell them to create a little profile and sign up.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Last thing I'll say, Sal, is anyone come across a business owner, a small business owner that's ever been turned down for a loan? I had a lady who had a $400,000 gross income on her Schedule C. Whoever did her taxes had her at $20,000 taxable income. You're not going to buy too much house with $20,000 taxable income, and I got her approved to buy a $450,000 house without using her tax returns. So anyone who's ever been turned down by a loan from any bank or mortgage company, send them my way.
Can you work in in West Virginia or strictly in Western Pennsylvania?
I can work in West Virginia as well.
Okay. There's a young man who I advise in the cellular repair business, and he's doing well. His business is doing well. He's just had some, previous credit challenges. So I'll send him your way.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's very diplomatic. Previous credit challenges.
I don't know a lot about that, but when I end up looking at what's happened, especially in the Obamacare era, all of a sudden a guy who's had $1,000 deductible, which he could end up handling, now ends up with a $5,000 deductible. And the first time he, comes in with $2,500 worth of hospital bills, he's got to recover, and it just ruins his credit.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree. And without getting whatever off track, political, whatever, I'll just say this because my mother's 90 years old, so I'm doing that transition where I'm helping her a lot with her finances, her medical bills, this, that, and the other thing. And she spent 3 days in a hospital down in Miami. And what I remember, because I received a copy of that bill, they did a CAT scan. I mean, it wasn't an MRI. Okay, fine. It was a CAT scan, and the CAT scan was, I guess, the list price, for lack of a better term, was $6,000. And then Medicare said, okay, well, this is great. We'll pay you $600, and that was that. But it was, I guess maybe for me it was kind of a amazing. Like, we all know you go to the dealership, you buy a car, it's got a list price, and you buy it for a little bit less than that, but you don't buy it for 90% less than the list price of the car at the dealership. But I guess when it's a CAT scan, then Medicare gets a 90% discount. So however that works, and then it was also amazing just even that the list price would be $6,000 in a CAT scan. But anyway, I know that could be maybe someday we'll do a whole video conference on that.
One of the things I'll say about the medical thing, unfortunately, many of us that have had health insurance by our employers for last 20 or 30 years, just go and this is what our doctor tells us. And I know some people in the health insurance world around here, and I find out that MRI, instead of getting it done in Oakland, if you went out to Centerville, Pennsylvania, which is right past 84 PA, they'll do it for probably 75% less. Also, I had a friend of mine who knew he was going to have like a $3,000 deductible. His son had to go to the emergency ward. So when he went in to check in, he says, I have no insurance. I'm paying cash. His bill was like $700, as opposed to the insurance company probably would have got billed for $4,000 or $5,000. So sometimes we have to be smarter about our health insurance and maybe check around for cost and not listen to what the doctor tells us to do.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna cut off the meeting here so we don't get too sidetracked on health insurance, because again, that could be the subject of a whole video. By the way, let me say this: if any of you guys know an expert on health insurance, that might be interesting to bring him on board and just pepper him with some questions if he's game for that. But anyway, I'm going to turn this off. I will email a link to the video. I will email the same thing that I put on the chat. If you guys put your contact information or whatever you guys put in the chat, I will email that too. And that's it. Dolph, you and I can go visit River City on Wednesday at 2 and try to coordinate an activity over there. And then that's it. Please put on your schedules October 14th at South Point at the King's Chop House for lunch. And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sal.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good
God
week.
bless.